You ever have something so good, you start wondering how long it's gonna last? Like you're enjoying it, but there's this quiet thought in the back of your mind. What if this doesn't feel like this forever? Like the serotonin. And then one day, it doesn't. Or at least, you think it doesn't. For a while, I started asking myself something I never thought I'd question. Will I still love anime years from now? I don't feel like that question came out of nowhere. It came from like a shift that I noticed recently. I couldn't explain it at first, but when I realized it actually wasn't anime that changed, it was something about how I experienced it. So anime has always been around me. My brother, he was about 6 years older than me and he controlled the TV. So whatever he was watching, I was watching. That's how I grew up on Pokemon, Naruto, Yu-Gi-Oh, Dragon Ball Z. It could have been Dragon Ball. And his favorite was Rurouni Kenshin. And so I didn't choose anime at first. Anime chose me. But around 7th grade, that's when it became mine. That's when I found Bleach. And that changed everything. Bleach is the anime that made me fall in love with anime. My brother also controlled the computer, and so I would get weekend turns, either Saturdays or Sundays. But whenever that was, I was locked in, binging Bleach. And the way I watched anime back then, it was completely different. I didn't overthink anything, I didn't analyze, I didn't predict. There were times I didn't even know characters' names, and I still loved the show. Because I wasn't watching for information, I was watching for feeling, for like immersion, for escape, and my suspension of disbelief was very strong. Like really, really strong. If the world said this is how it works, cool, I'm with it. And because of that, everything hit harder for me. Then things started to change when I graduated college around 2021, and in 2022 I found reactors. And it started with Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba. And I watched those reactions episode by episode. I mean, every single episode of Demon Slayer over and over and over. And when it was in the current run-ins, I would watch that episode and then go watch all of that reaction. And I did this with multiple other anime series. And at one point, I was watching more reactions than anime. And reactors do what they do. They question everything. They predict everything. They analyze everything. And they're not wrong. That's just how they watch. But they weren't how I used to watch anime. And slowly something shifted. I started noticing things I never noticed before. Things that never bothered me started to. Plot logic, pacing, and the small little details. And I realized something I didn't like. My suspension of disbelief got weaker. And because of that, my emotional connection got weaker too. Moments just didn't hit the same. Not because they weren't good, but because I wasn't experiencing them the same way. And I think that's when it clicked. It wasn't the anime, it was how I was consuming anime. I was watching reactions constantly, hearing others people's thoughts first, letting outside voices shape my experience. I wasn't just watching anime anymore. I was watching anime through other people, and that changes everything. And so because I genuinely love anime so much, I made a conscious decision to step back and reset and go back to how I used to watch anime. Watching for the feeling again, letting things be what they are, not trying to solve everything and not trying to predict everything, just experiencing it. And that's when I came back to something simple. Anime is deep, but it's also not that deep. I still watch reactions, but it's entertainment, not influence. And no, I don't watch anime the same way I used to. I don't binge like that anymore. Life is different, time is different, but the love, it never left. I still get hype, I still tear up, and I still feel it, just in a different rhythm. So subconsciously, watching reactions changed the way how I watched and experienced anime. Not to say that social media or adulthood hasn't played a part, but it's very minor. And so to answer the question, will I still love anime in 10 years? Absolutely. I really think I will. Because it's not something I watch, it's something I grew up with. Something that shaped how I feel and is my number one hobby. And something I want to share with my future kids one day. It's part of me. So anime didn't change as a whole. My relationship with it did. And once I realized that, I was able to find my way back to it. So now I'm curious, how long have you been watching anime? And do you think you'll still be watching in 10 years? But until next time, sail safe and stay spirited.